Hello everybody. Hello Raphael, Nero, and Mega Master to the stream. And welcome Lumina. We're starting a little bit late today because I actually got my COVID bivalent booster today in preparation for the event next week, and so I'm a little drowsy. But it went well. It went well. So, yeah, that's all we can ask for in this day and age, right? I'm gonna go ahead with the chapter, and then we can chat a little bit afterward. And, yeah. So, I hope you enjoy this week's chapter 11, Night Market. For just one day of the week, Mythhaven forgot her toils and troubles and indulged in a night of revelry. The entire length of the Citadel's central thoroughfare, Main Avenue, was speckled in all manner of lively paraphernalia. Stalls of steaming street food, bards and their wild yarns, card dealers with deft fingers and shifty sleight of hand. The plucky music of lutes and drums barely pulled above the bustle of the crowd packing the cobbled road from end to end. Families and their bright-eyed children, sets of young lovers, eager tradesmen and merchants, people of all sorts and stages could be found in the Mythhaven night market, because it was a place for everyone. Azalea sighed with pleasure at the garden of light and color before her. She loved the night market dearly. To her, it was a piece of everything good about Airlie. The life, the beauty, the undying hope. It was everything she'd sworn to protect as a hunter. Not that she was on duty here. She'd briefly dropped by her rented room on Gallows Square to slip into something more comfortable. She'd chucked her plate armor and layered pieces in favor of an earthy ruffle-collar dress, her favorite for going around town. After switching out her gold-trimmed cape for one of a plainer make, she was ready to disappear into the crowd for a night out. Next to her, Wes gingerly extracted his hand from Azalea's grasp. "So," he said, clearing his throat, "what do you want to hit first? The pastry stall? Maybe the card dealer?" Azalea grabbed his hand again. This time, she wound their fingers together tightly. Wes choked. "What are you doing?" "Holding your hand," Azalea said, puzzled. "We don't want to get separated." She wasn't sure what had startled him so. It wasn't the first time they'd visited the night market together. They often had to hold hands or risk being lost in the overwhelming crowd. "Oh, right," Wes said. He sighed resignedly. "Yeah, let's hold hands." Maybe he found the whole display childish and was getting tired of it. Azalea hoped not. Wes's touch meant more to her than just a few calloused fingers. She felt cozy when he held her hand. Safe, like she belonged. She loved the beauty of the night market, but she loved it more with Wes at her side. Azalea wove her way to the closest stall, stepping beneath the string lights hung in swooping lines overhead. Each little bulb was a thumb-sized shard of luminous stone and glittered like a yellow star. Walking down this road was like journeying beneath a canvas of constellations, magical in every way. The first stall was manned by a newcomer merchant. New stalls tended to place closer to the front of the night market, the magistracy of culture's attempt to keep the experience fresh. This particular one boasted rows of exquisite blown glass chalices, each filled with a vibrant, crystalline liquid in which little translucent cubes bobbled around like petals in a bubbling brook. Behind the counter, the merchant beamed. "Sweet jelly tea, refreshing and luxurious like drinking nectar from a flower." That was all the convincing Azalea needed. She immediately bought 2 tankards. They each picked a different brew. Wes, black tea with apple and mango jellies, and Azalea, honeyed green tea with rose and pomegranate jellies. It tasted as promised, the light, sweet flavors sparkling on her tongue like sunshine on a waterfall. They returned the empty tankards and moved to the next stall, where a woman with streaks of gray in her hair sat with a whittling knife and a little block of wood. The table of her booth was peppered with wooden statuettes of animals, flowers, and signature weapons of the legendary mythic stars. Azalea turned to Wes. "How's the craftsmanship?" Wes peered closely at one of the statuettes, which depicted a flowering vine curled around a slumbering fawn. "Remarkable," he said breathlessly. "So much rounding and so much detail. Look, there's ribbing on the petals." He gingerly reached out and turned the statuette by the base. His eyes were alight for the first time since they'd left the guild, and it made Azalea smile. Wes loved to whittle. Back at the academy, he'd always kept a block of soft wood and his pocket knife on hand. He carved all sorts of trinkets, little flutes and whistles, stout gnomes with floppy hats and bushy mustaches, bulbous mushrooms with fun dotted patterns. But his favorite subjects were always woodland creatures, especially small birds. He loved to whittle them perched on branches, drinking from flowers, fluttering about in a puddle. "Have you ever held a sparrow in your palm?" he once asked, the tip of his knife texturing in wings. He and Azalea had stowed away in some obscure corner of the academy, probably the cleaner's closet, to hide from the watchful eyes of the faculty. "No," Azalea admitted. She tried, but animals always fled from her. "When a shy little thing trusts you like that," Wes said in a hushed, wondrous tone, "it steals your breath away. Makes you want to be just as good and pure of a person as it expects." He stopped, and his warm eyes rested on her. "I never want to break that trust." If you have it, it's because you've already earned it." "I haven't earned a thing." He returned to his little wooden sparrow. "But I will. One day, I will." Now, on the lively streets of Airlean's night market, Azalea watched Wes handle the statuettes with a careful touch. How far he'd come in just a few years. From a hobbyist whittler who only worked in secret to a full-fledged ingeniator with a patent under his belt. She always knew he had the talent, of course. She'd known ever since she saw how he handled a block of wood. The care, the patience, the ingenuity. His hands were blessed with the ability to create, just like Azur's hands had been blessed with the ability to destroy. Azalea hadn't quite figured out what her hands had been blessed with, if anything at all. They moved on to the next stall, which served bites of smoked brisket on thin flat cakes. The skin was blackened and crispy, the meat piping hot and dripping with savory flavor. Azalea hummed happily around the soft, fatty fare. "I'm always amazed," Wes said, swallowing the last of his brisket, "at how much attention is given to every last detail. It's just street food, but every merchant treats it like an art." He was right. This brisket must have been carefully smoked overnight. Even the flat cakes were tastefully made, plain with a smattering of oil, salt, and crisp green onion. Spring onion, sorry. "These stalls are often owned and operated by the same families for generations," Azalea said. "To them, the recipe is their art. At least, so claimed the magistracy of culture, and she could easily believe it from how the chef's deft fingers folded dough and minced vegetables, moving swift and assured as if they'd been born to work with food. Azalea and Wes continued their sampling along the market path, splitting larger portions to control the fullness of their bellies. Ugh, sorry. They relished skewered slices of quail eggs that were rubbed in spices, coated in batter, and fried deep in oil. Next was a leg of fire-roasted chicken, steaming juices bubbling under golden brown skin. Buttered crackers with an herbal cheese melt, thick seafood chowder in a bread cup, spindled noodles in a luscious dipping sauce. Even just one bite from each stall added up to a king's feast that left Azalea stuffed. They slowed as they approached the final stalls, which were some of Azalea's favorites. The pastry chefs and bakeries loading their displays with vibrant cakes and buttery rolls. Wes squeezed her hand. "Milk buns?" he proposed. "Or want to try something new?" Azalea's eyes drifted to a row of decadent cakes dressed in wildflowers and fruits. Ma would sometimes make hearty nutmeg bread filled with raisins for Azur's death anniversary. But the delicate cakes of the capital with their refined flours and sugars were something else entirely. Light, milky, and a bit sickening if one ate too much. One particular slice caught her eye. A pale cake layered with rich, dark globs of cream, topped with a beautiful lily of graduated night blue. She recognized it as night lily cream cake, luxurious and smooth, with just a hint of sweetness, featuring a subtle blend of night lilies and almonds. Wes noticed her gaze, and before Azalea could protest, quickly bought a slice. "You spoil me too much," Azalea said, a touch sullen. He only laughed and nudged her shoulder. "Just making up for all those years you couldn't have cake." She blushed. She still remembered just how befuddled she'd been the first time Wes had popped into her academy dormitory, cake in tow. It had been a pretty thing, pink cream, cherry dotted, dollops of jam. Wes had grinned bashfully and told her that it was a birthday gift. And Azalea had promptly burst into tears. Wes had explained, in great panic, that it was Mythaven tradition to receive cake on one's birthday, and he hadn't meant any harm by it, and please don't cry. He'd throw it out, please don't cry. Azalea had instantly seized the cake close and blurted that it was the nicest thing anyone had done for her birthday. Then she'd proceeded to cry even harder. Da had tried his best to make such a day special, but with an ailing wife and a young daughter, there hadn't been enough coin to go around. Having a whole cake to herself had been unthinkable. Now Azalea, slice of night lily cream cake in hand, so easily procured, settled in the darkened central square. The establishments that usually kept aglow had extinguished their lamps, as was tradition for the weekly night market. Families were setting out blankets and corralling their children, who clutched their rag dolls close and whispered excitedly to one another. "The troop! The troop!" they were saying, eyes glittering like the stars. "What do you think they'll do tonight?" Azalea smiled and nibbled on her cake. The floral sweetness, touched with a nutty hint of almond, bloomed on her tongue. Sweets, festive crowds, a magic show. All the makings of a perfect night for a child. Who would she have become if this had been her childhood? Light and life and a world of wonder. Who would Azir have become? Beyond the central square, Azalea knew, there was a looming columbarium with walls full of niches and urns, the evidence of so many fallen to the storm, and it would only continue to grow. Azalea bit her lip and set down her cake. She glanced sidelong at Wes, who was scribbling something in a small leather-bound book with the charcoal pencil he always carried around. "Wes," she said quietly, "if you knew where the next surge was going to strike, what would you do?" Wes's pencil froze, and his head whipped in her direction. "Excuse me? If I knew, get the people out, of course, and notify the Hunters Guild." "Right?" His indignation was fueling her own. "You wouldn't stay quiet and do nothing." "Absolutely not." Wes slumped back with a heavy sigh. "The Observatorium has broken their backs trying to figure out a prediction system. It saved so many lives." "But they can't do it?" Wes shook his head. "Only up to determining the epicenter, and not as accurately as they'd like. The storm is too volatile. I don't see how it'd be possible to get a good reading." So the wolf had been lying, just like Azalea thought. He couldn't tell where the next surge would hit. No one could, not even the smartest, most powerful high sages of the Observatorium. And if a high sage could not discern something, what chance did a scrappy mercenary have? Still, it ate at her. Echo had sounded so convinced, so terribly genuine when he named Northelm as the next target. Regardless of the truth, one thing was clear. He had believed it with every fiber of his being. "What if," Azalea said haltingly, "you heard a rumor on where the next surge would strike? It would be silly, wouldn't it? Just some old midwife's tale." "You should go." Wes's response was so firm and immediate that it took Azalea a moment to process. She looked at him. "What?" "You should check out the rumor," Wes said. His eyes were clear, burning amber. "But it's not true." Wes shrugged. "Rumors all come from someplace. In this case, it's probably fear." "Fear?" "Rumors of impending surges tend to surface in places where people feel anxious and unstable," he explained. "Seeing a hunter will dramatically raise the morale of the town. For that reason alone, it's worth you visiting." He was right. She never made that connection before. Azalea stared for a long moment, silent and still. Wes blinked at her. "What is it?" "Sometimes," Azalea said slowly, "I think that your father might be right. You do think like a tactician."
"What?"
Wes snorted.
"No, it's just common sense."
But Azalea wasn't sure. Wes was averse to fighting, so he constantly played down his martial talents. He had no love for the battlefield nor the art of the sword, and he shied away from them whenever he could, far preferring the warmth of the hearth and forge. That hadn't stopped him from placing first in military strategy, subunit tactics, and bestial combat at the academy. He'd even scored decently in sword fighting.
It's just money, he'd say with a wave of his hand. I was raised with tutors. Others couldn't afford that privilege. Or father paid off the exam proctors, I don't know. Combat and tactics, really not for me.
Maybe that's what others told him. Jealous peers, haughty parents, bitter soldiers. But Azalea knew better. She'd watched Wes transform as he led the Mythhaven Academy Company beneath relentless rain and howling wind, issuing orders with determination, level-headedness, and flexibility. Under his command, they'd done what no student unit before them had done. They'd walked out with 0 fatalities. Either way, Azalea dropped the matter. She would be the last one to pressure Wes into becoming a military leader. He, of all people, deserved to do something he loved.
Look, Wes said, pulling her attention back. The show's starting.
With a crackle of glittering smoke, a willowy figure materialized in the center of the square, shrouded in an iridescent cloak that rippled with an ocean-like shimmer, even in the scant light. He bowed towards the waiting audience, who clapped joyously. "Troop Master!" shrieked the children. "It's the Merry Troop! The Merry Troop!" He turned in his cloak and vanished, and the entire square became his stage. Blue light fell in waves over the cobbled ground, rays of silver piercing them intermittently. Slowly, the world around them bloomed to life. Prismatic shells dotted the mortar like winding pathways of stars. Jellyfish swayed around the crowd, translucent flesh shimmering in vibrant hues. The crowd gasped in delight. Children ran after the jellyfish, laughing, stretching out tiny hands to the luminous creatures. A pair of young lovers stole a kiss beneath blooming sea flowers. Azalea reached out and passed her fingers through the nearest jellyfish, watching as the image melted through her hand. Illusion magic. It wouldn't see use in combat. Corrupted beasts, which sensed mana presence, wouldn't be fooled by smoke and mirrors. But in a way, that made this show all the more beautiful. The true master had taken his natural-born gift and spread hope and joy through the kingdom in his own way. "Isn't it wonderful?" she said in a hushed voice. She raised her head just as a school of silver-scaled fish darted above. "Yeah," said Wes. His face was open in wonder, his eyes fixed on the rainbow corals starting to sprout from the walls of the square buildings. A whole world of possibilities. The show evolved. A swarm of bubbles materialized into a lovely mermaid with a trident, who would certainly sweep along the audience on the tale of Aster Aria, a story of new worlds, tragic love, and ultimate sacrifice. As the beautiful story was painted before her eyes, Azalea felt around for the weight of Wes's hand, warm and steady, a foundation in a floundering world, and squeezed it. There would come a day, she knew, where he'd have to let go, where she'd have to watch his back disappear as he walked his own path. He would marry a nice, noble girl and have nice, noble children, patenting more brilliant inventions, while she remained in the Hunters Guild until she inevitably died. She did not belong in that world. She could not enter it, and she could not demand for Wes to leave it. But until that day, Azalea would hold his hand, soak in its warmth, and protect it for everything she was worth. Hey, end of chapter. I hope your side effects won't be too bad. Oh, thank you, Lumina. Honestly, every vaccine I've gotten, I've had a really bad reaction to, which is not great. Even though I'm like, oh, it must just be psychological. It can't be hitting already. But I'm like, oh, it's hard for me to read. The brain fog is real. Wes, be still, my beating heart. He's just a whittle guy. I just ate and this is making me hungry. I agree. I haven't eaten and I'm hungry, but I love describing food. This is what I call the Red Wall chapter. Nice little filler episode just to do nothing but describe a lot of food, which I wanted to do for a while. Zaylee, my girl, please take a hint. He's going to leave me. I'll never be worthy. I can't ever. He wouldn't like me, just little old me. Anyway. This chapter is really bittersweet. Oh, yes, my little, my little babies. Little babies. So, not sure what to say, just enjoy it. I am glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, there's not really a whole lot to say, not that much happened, but I hope it was fun and relaxing. You know, I've calmed down a lot, guys, from my cop and robber days back in the day, writing really intense stories. We're done with that era now. It's just vibes. So I was gonna do a follow-up stream. Initially, I was gonna do a drawing follow-up stream because I actually have to finish one more painting before the convention. However, I thought I don't want to work for my last stream because this will be my last streaming day for a while, and I'm like, I don't want to work. You work on your last stream for a while. Gross. So I wanted to play a game. But I kind of want to leave it up to you guys. Is there anything you would want to watch? Or otherwise, I would just default to Breath of the Wild. But like, you know, Harvestella came out today, but I'm gonna wait for it a little bit because the demo was not very impressive, and I would rather just wait to hear more about if it's a good game and performance and stuff before I sink $60. Oh, new titles, pain. I'm missing Luna. Oh, thank you, Ace-Frola. I will still be doing an Airlean stream. There won't be an Airlean stream next Friday, though. Oh, what am I gonna do about that? Maybe I'll pre-record the reading, because I don't want to fall a week behind. Or we'll do 2 chapters the week after, because I'm going to be at the convention. So, but we're still going to have Airlean streams. It's just we're not going to have any other streams. I'm going to be resting. If you wish to play some slightly horror games, it'd be nice to vary a bit. I can't do horror, so sorry. I'll take other suggestions, but I'm not touching horror. I have to sleep. I can't sleep after I have horror. Hello, Lava Surfer, welcome. Breath of the Wild sounds good to me. I don't mind Breath of the Wild, and a bit of variation. That is exactly why. The variation of Luna playing a horror game. In general, I'm kind of poor until the convention happens, where I'll hopefully earn some money back, so I can't really buy new titles right now either. That's my excuse, I'm sticking to it. Oh guys, I can't play horror games because, you know, the budget. The budget's looking kind of tight. Can pre-record it then premiere? It'd be similar to it being read live. I see. Okay, I'll see if I can do that and schedule it, because I don't really want to fall behind, and I already feel like me reading one chapter is already kind of like goobery, so... yeah, we'll try. We'll give it a shot. Yeah. Well, our options are what? Breath of the Wild, Triangle Strategy. What games do I have on my Switch? We have like Hades. Hades doesn't seem like a good like thing to stream only once, though. You know what I mean? We have system update. No way. We could continue Great Ace Attorney. We could do the Kirby post game. Apparently I have Xenoblade Chronicles, but not downloaded. That must be my brother's purchase, probably. Cuphead, oh no. 3 Houses. Another shared RPG. Hollow Knight. Mario Rabbids, Luigi's Mansion, Octopath Traveler, which is another long game. Most of these are just long games. Paper Mario Origami King, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Let's Go Pikachu, Rune Factory 4, when did I get that? Super Mario Odyssey, Link's Awakening, Transistor, 3 Houses, but you can't use the Lords? Why even play? Maybe Three Houses will seem like a breeze now that you've played Triangle Strategy. Well, Triangle Strategy normal is around the same as Three Houses hard. The main thing with Three Houses and Triangle Strategy is I keep getting thrown off actually by their small differences and not their similarities. Like, having a third dimension to think about actually hurts my brain sometimes. The third dimension, the fact that you can have free action order, so you can attack and then item and then move, or you can attack and then move or item and then move, is what throws me off. However, like 600 hours on it, I think, on Three Houses. I think I have 400. Maybe I have 300. I don't know. Let's check my play hours, shall we? We're just chatting here, you know? Maybe this will just be a just chatting stream. It's not like I've ever had one of those, so we can talk before I'm socially isolated. Let's see. How much have I played? What is that under? It's under profile, isn't it? Here we go. Okay, you guys want to hear my game stats? Breath of the Wild is only 280 hours. Really? Fascinating. Hades was played for 100 hours. Where's my Three Houses? My Three Houses activity's not showing. What? Why not? Is it because I don't have it currently downloaded, maybe? Well, I don't have it downloaded, I guess. But I'm pretty sure I played it for more than Breath of the Wild, so it was probably around 300 hours. Three Houses, but you only use the Lord /J? Oh no, that's what my Blue Lions runs are. Dimitri Byleth's solo run, let's go. There's Valkyria Chronicles. I do not currently own Valkyria Chronicles, so that would be another, like, $60, unfortunately. I hear it's good, though. The original I remember being really good because my brother played that one. I think the subsequent ones had weaker stories, though, and characters. But that's just my impression. It could be that was actually not true. Sometimes I like to play around with Three Houses classes, like having a team of all cavalry or flyers. You know when I played Black Eagles? I did all mortal savants. What was it again? I believe I made a deal. I was like, I told my brother, I'm gonna do hard classic with all mortal savants and no deaths, and if I do that, you have to buy us DLC. So I did, and it turned out, if you're gonna pick a house to go all mortal savants, Black Eagles is actually a pretty good one to do it, because I have a lot of really good access to magic. I think it would have been a lot more difficult if I had tried to do that with Blue Lions. One of my friends did a Valkyria Chronicles cosplay last week that looked really good. Oh, cool! Way too many hours on my Three Houses. I played it so much. Always the black flag option and pay later if you can. No, 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 no. Do not go into credit card debt. Do not do it, guys. Pay off your credit card. Do not go into debt for as long as you can handle, because you will end up overpaying by like so much more percent. It's very, very bad. Compound interest loves to work against you and not for you. 80 spells are actually pretty good. Yeah. Yeah, we did allow me a dancer, so I made her my dancer, and she was an absolute beast. I gave her 11 sword, and I leveled alert stance, so she was just a dodge queen with 11 sword. It was a super weird run. I don't know why I did that. I meant piracy? Oh, pirating. No, if I can acquire something with legally and with ease in the States, I don't feel comfortable pirating it. Because even if it helps save you money, in the end, it's actually very bad for the industry. And then, especially if I like the game and want to support it, it's really important that it shows in the legal sales numbers. Otherwise, publishers will try not to like fund things like that, because they'll see, oh, nobody wants to buy this when they're all pirating it, and then nothing good gets made ever again. So
That's why I'm like, I want to spend the money legally to buy it, because you want to basically, it's like your way of being a patron of the arts, you know, the patron of the arts, and endorsing future products that you would like. I think the only time I'm ever okay with pirating something is either ROMs if you already own a copy, and often they're outdated games that are no longer in distribution, or if they're like overseas things that you cannot easily acquire or import. Would it be fair to comprehend the idea of piracy? How would I put it? I think I've been stolen from so often. My artwork has been stolen from a lot, and I think as someone who's been struggling to make it creatively, I kind of feel a lot more empathy and sympathy towards people who are in game development or just creative fields in general trying to make it by. Even if it's like, yeah, stick it to the man, or like, you know, the big companies, they don't care or whatever. But it's like, well, maybe. And there's a lot of things that companies are doing wrong, to be sure. But in the end, these are still made with blood, sweat, and tears of creatives who are like me. So it's just really hard for me to to agree with that or pirate or anything. Something has to really suck for me to be okay with pirating it. Okay, so maybe I'll just, I don't know. I already feel like my brain is getting kind of fuzzy. I don't really want to play games, but I don't really just want to leave. Let me hide my iPad. I wonder if there's any games, iPad, you know, mobile games and stuff. Here we go. Yeah. Play Peepers Please in Stardew Valley. I really would want to do a Stardew Valley Zaylee run, but the problem is Stardew Valley's bachelors all kind of stink. Where's my Wes, man? Where's my Wes? Oh, too bad. It would be a great game to play as Zaylee. Cannot. Big companies do trash. I only support piracy for those who cannot. I don't know if just not being able to afford it, though, is necessarily a good reason. Like, there's a lot of times where I'll just have to wait for sales or save. But I think it gets kind of dangerous if you say, just because I can't afford it, I still deserve to play it. Because that can kind of apply to anything. And, I don't know. Like, I'm not saying that this is specifically you, but you know, that mentality can feel like it can become dangerous. I pirated pretty much all the FE games, bought physical copies of the ones available in English. Fire Emblem, like 3/4 of the games are not even available in the States, so and a bunch of them will only have fan translations, so like Inces better get their act together and start localizing and remaking some of these, you know what I mean? Because it's impossible to find them anywhere. I think somewhere we still have like the GBA Fire Emblem 7 and 8, and we have the Wii copies of Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn, and then we have what, DS Shadows of Valencia. What came before that? What was 11? What was FE11? FE11 and 12. Oh, Awakening! Awakening and my brother owned Awakening on DS. We've bought like every Fire Emblem available in the US, but like there's so many, anything before 7 is just a travesty. Just don't even try. Snagged FE4 when you were in Tokyo. Oh my goodness, that's what, genealogy? I've heard stories. I've heard stories that there's gonna be a remake for it soon. It'd be really nice. There was on that a pretty good story. Guardian Tales. Guardian Tales? What is that? I should look it up. Guardian Tales. Oh, it's like Link. Cow games? Huh. Inconsistent difficulty, much better than expected. Oh, interesting. It's fantastic. Oh. Shadow Dragon! I've been disappointed with all the Shadow Dragon remakes. I haven't personally played them, to be honest. It's just visually, I'm saying. I'm not tempted to play any of them because visually they feel kind of lackluster to me. We should be up for the Genealogy remake soon. Oh, true. I hope so. I hope so. I hope it's not just rumors. Chief, I live in Brazil. Everything is ×5, literally. So sad. Oh my goodness. They don't change prices per country? That's like brutal. What? I would think they would have local like price scaling, but I guess not. Yikes. That means that games like are hundreds of dollars for you. New Mystery of the Emblem, but that was Japan exclusive again. New Mystery of the Emblem? I don't know what that one is. I think the only Fire Emblem games I don't have that were released in the West are Tellius and the GBA ones, and technically Conquest. I did get Revelation before the eShop went down. So managed to snag the original FE Warriors. I've heard it's lackluster and getting a chance to expand my collection with 3DS games are becoming rarer and rarer. I played the original Warriors. How would I put it? It is exactly what you would expect from a Warriors game. I had a lot of fun. I actually think... Yeah, so if you're used to Three Hopes, it has way less features than Three Hopes, straight up. But, you know, it's also an FE game where I get to play as, like, Marth and Lynn, who I like a lot, so... But yeah, it has some homogenization and there's not really a whole lot of customization options. You really just go and smack things, so that's fine if you like it. I don't have a Tellius game also. There was a seller at Awa who had Radiant Dawn for $250. What the heck? Scalpers. My goodness. Hey, maybe I should sell my copy of Radiant Dawn and get $250. That would be nice. 1824, we get like 4 times the retail value that we bought it for. Yo, should sell all my old Fire Emblems for bajillion. Just kidding. I don't think I want to sell those. You know, that was back in the days when games all came with really cool booklets, printed booklets and everything. Man, it is beautiful. Maybe I should play, like, at some point I should really play Awakening and see if I can stream it too. Awakening, Fates, Conquest, and Revelation, because I haven't played those. And they seem like most people have played them. But those are actually the games, the Fire Emblem games I have not played, are the ones that are some of the most popular, so... My brother also says, you should play those because the story of Fates, Conquest, and Revelation is truly whack, and as a story writer, I want to see your opinion on it. He wants to see my reaction, because apparently there's some stuff that happens in those games that's truly ludicrous. I played Shadow Dragon and New Mystery on emulator. I did not, and then never... Which each just to say I did, and then never picked them up again. Oh, I see. Yeah, I don't remember them being spectacular. Or I don't remember rumors of them being spectacular. They do in Steam, so it's very expensive and I want people to buy as if they were in X and Y country. Oh, that's kind of like soft region locking. They can't region lock it, so they still make it expensive. Slowly making my way through FE Warriors feels a bit sluggish compared to Hopes. Yeah, it really is just a mindless beat 'em up. London Blazing Blade was my first introduction to Effie, so I have a huge soft spot for her too. She was mine as well. What's your name? Change his name to Lindis. Wow, that's such an unusual name. Yeah. FE7 was my first Fire Emblem, and my total introduction to the genre. I really like Final Fantasy? I really like Fire Emblem 7 for that specific reason and a lot of its characters. I've never got around to making merch of them. I don't know, part of me is kind of copiuming out for maybe like a remake, but I guess their heroes variants would basically be what they would have, right? So, I don't know. If you don't... Don't sell it. You can't play it if you do. Well, I could. um, I actually can't play it even if I keep it because we don't have a Wii anymore. So, if I wanted to play Radiant Dawn, I would still have to download a ROM and emulate it. I couldn't play it on a console because I don't own the console anymore. So the physical copy doesn't actually change anything. But I do think selling the physical copy and then getting the emulated version is kind of scummy. So I don't think I would do that. Just cross fingers. Just switch. Port everything to Switch. Come on. It can't be that hard. Just make one engine that's like fits all. One engine fits all. I got lucky and got into FE back when you could still get physical copies for used prices instead of rare prices. Oh, yeah. Those are the days, huh? I do pay for Xbox Pack. That's how I play games like Signolia or Valhalla. I haven't played Valhalla, actually. I only know it's a game about bartending and you make drinks for people, right? Or something. Is that something you guys would want to see me play? I hear it's very good. Valhalla is a very good visual novel. Hello, Drew Brothers. Welcome. We're just chatting. I was gonna do the follow-up stream, but I got my COVID booster, and my body reacts very, very poorly to vaccines, so I expect to be out for like 2 days at least. And I'll probably feel awful feverish by tonight, so we're just chatting for now. We're literally just chatting. I've heard so much about Valhalla, even played the collab it did with GFL, never actually seen it played. Go play it, it's so good. Yes. Oh, where can I get it for cheap? If it has a mobile port, that's probably the cheapest I'll get it, right? VA11. Wait. How do I even look this up? VA hyphen? VA hyphen 11. Valhalla. Okay, let's Google Valhalla game. That didn't work. Why did they make it so hard to look up? VA11 Hall A. $15. It was made with RunPy. I didn't know that. Interesting. I thought it was made with... Oh, it was made with Game Maker. Vita PS4, Switch. Switch is probably where I would get it. It seems like a good game for Switch. There's a decently high chance Lynn is going to appear in Gage. How often they bring Marth and Lynn back for nostalgia? And they won't be getting other remakes before other old games. Yeah, probably. And that's fair. That's very fair. They should be going in order. Give us 2, give us FE2, give us FE3, give us FE4, give us FE5, give us FE6. And then we could go 7, 8. You just start the cycle all over again. It's a never-ending cycle of remakes. Hope you get better. Thank you, Drew. Not really in a position to be spending money on games. It might be a while till I get another game. I was gonna leave for the con. They canceled the food festival today due to the weather, so I'll be leaving later for the other event. Oh, not the food festival! We just got done reading about the food festival. Pretty sure there is in Steam. Lynn is already confirmed for FE Engage. Probably all the people of the mural are gonna be in FE Engage. So Celica, Lynn, Marth, I forget who else was there. Sigurd? I don't really know what Sigurd is. Okay, let me see how much. I probably can't play it today though. Is Valhalla something I should play on my own, or you guys would like to watch streaming? Because since I'm not going to be streaming for a while, I do want to have some games to play, but I want to make sure that I save any games you guys would want to watch for stream. So, and if you guys would like to watch it. I am but a humble servant. Just kidding. All of you are my humble servant. Okay, well, Valhalla is only $15. Does seem like a good game for voice acting. Practicing my voice acting, you know. I would like. We already had a remake for FE1, 2, and 3, so 4 next would be... Wait, what was 1, 2, and 3 again? Wait, SOV was one of those, right? So Shadow Dragon was 1, but Shadow Dragon Remake was not good, in my opinion. They need to remake that at some point. 2 was Shadows of Valencia, wasn't it? What was 3? Topics in the game back then might not cut it for a remake. 4 is gonna be Genealogy. That's the one everybody's thinking will come. What was 2 and 3? One of them was Shadows of Valencia, but what was the other one? I think everyone on the mural slated to appear. It's just a matter of whether we've seen a model yet. Yeah. Never played, but I think it would be a fun game to stream. Okay. Remake after Shadow Dragon was a remake of Eevee 3. You know what? Maybe I'll not stream right after here, but maybe I'll stream tonight. I don't know. Friday night, though. I guess every VTuber and their mother will be streaming if you guys want to watch something else, so... But I feel like Valhalla night stream would be very fitting because, you know, bartending and night and everything. It's another game that's very story heavy, has good gameplay. I'm not able to remember the name. Mystery of the Emblem. FE3 was Japan only, so it's not that well known. Oh. Mystery Emblem. That was the one, yeah, that was the one you were talking about earlier. Yeah, I don't know anything about it. Why'd they make it Japan only? Let us play it too. I'll watch a Luna night stream. I'll be on the road by then, most likely. I'll catch the vibe when I get to the hotel. I wouldn't be able to watch tonight since I'm going to see film Red. Ooh, Red. Maybe not then. Maybe I'll just rest. Sorry. I wanted to leave on a gaming stream. And I'm not going to be back for a little while. But that doesn't mean there's not going to be any new content. Because what I'll probably do is, since I'm not going to be streaming, I'll have time to go through my VODs and edit some of them. So you might see some edited supercuts like Papers, Please. And more clips and things like that. So basically we're catching up on all the VODs and clips before we return to streaming. And then, yeah. I tune into a night stream. Heart. Oh, thank you guys. You're so supportive. Thank you. I think rest is more important. Disco Elysium. Just remembered it. Okay, a lot of these games are ones I'm gonna have to look up for sure. How about this? For now, we'll log off the stream. If I feel like playing Valhalla tonight, I'm gonna stream Valhalla tonight. No worries on whether you want to tune in or not. I would probably just treat it as a good story-rich experience and a voice acting exercise. And I have no spoilers on that game either. Completely spoiler free. So it'd be very blind, and in my opinion, that's the best way to play a story game, is completely blind. So you might see me tonight, or you might not. But either way, I will call it a day here and take a big nap, drink a lot of water, and yeah. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend and the rest of the month. If any of you are going to AXGB, I will see you there. You should come up and be like, hey, I am XXYY from watching your stream. And I'll be like, wow, cool. I'll probably, I don't know, throw a free sticker at you or something. Okay, well, you guys all have the most wonderful day. Goodbye, and thank you for tuning in to Airlean Tales and chatting with me for a little bit. Have safe drives to those of you who are going on the road like Drew Brothers, and good night. Thank you, Lumina. You too. Good night.